Mike, what are you looking for in that first bout of the night?
Yeah, both of these guys are really accomplished, solid, foundational wrestlers.
All right, gentlemen, shake hands. Good luck.
Let's see who can get to their offense first, score the first takedown, and a great shot right off the bat there from Rally, but good defense from Venadia.
Stay center.
You got the Hammer Down Cancer Singlet Auction Night, so a little neon on those singlets for the Boilermakers.
Yeah, I like it. It's a good bright of color in this harsh winter that we're going through right now.
Well, these guys getting real close, and right after it, well, this is the tone setter, and already looking for some early back points, and it turns into a takedown.
Yeah, great initiative there by Venadia to go big early in the match. He almost had it. You see him fully roll through. He actually catches on the back, but great job recovering, getting a takedown of his own, and Rally out to with quick 3-0 start.
Set, cover.
Rally coming in 24th ranked.
One.
Off a loss against Rutgers. There's the escape.
Yeah, and a good job by Venadia, recovering, keeping calm after, going for that big move and giving up the takedown, getting back to the neutral position and giving himself a shot to get a takedown before the end of this first period.
Good to see Venadia back because he's been out for a little bit. His last time wrestling was early December. He'd been going through a little bit of an elbow injury, but that's just par for the course when you're in the midst of a wrestling schedule.
It really is, and in particular in this conference, I mean, you're going to get dinged up a lot, and for him to be out for that long and coming back in at this point in the season is tough, but I think the coaches have done a great job of keeping him in shape, making sure he's keeping that conditioning high, and he's looked really great so far in this first minute or so of this match.
There's a shot. Rally trying to get in once again.
Yeah, Venadia doing a good job sitting this corner. Rally needs to try to isolate that leg, get some pressure on that opposite hip. But Venadia doing a good job of holding position, looking to work for a stalemate. But Rally methodical and climbing up the body, and I think there it is. He's got the 3-point takedown to take the 6-1 lead.
I tell you what, it's your first time to be home since November for Purdue. I'm sure you'd love to see them come out, be aggressive, and that's what Tony Earthland's group has done.
They really have, and I think recovering from that big move, getting to your offense, now you're on top. You've got a little bit of time left in this period. Finishing the period on top is going to be so important for Rally to put himself in a great position to play for bonus points heading into the second period.
And he's 40 seconds from doing that. The 4-time Oregon State champ, all the way from Corvallis. He also had 3 team titles as well out there with Crescent Valley High School. Now Purdue coming off where they had to face Maryland and Rutgers, kind of do that East Coast swing, and now they get an opportunity to be home for 4 straight duels.
And that's really rare in the Big Ten slate. So, for them to front load some of that travel, get those road trips done with, and have that luxury of warming up in your home mat, going through your weigh-ins, eating your own food, sleeping in your own bed, like that stuff is so important at this point in the season.
Also nice when you don't have to go as far outside and travel when it's negative out there in West Lafayette.
Yes, definitely nice to stay indoors.
15 seconds left in this first period.
Yeah, Rally sort of hanging out in this crab ride. He's thrown that half in a little bit, unable to really get great momentum behind it and get the back points, but accomplishes his goal and gets the ride out in the first period.
So Luke is out there wrestling right now. This is his brother, though, Ben, getting warmed up on the other side. And, how about Dad as well? Anthony Venadia is there. So it really is a family affair in West Lafayette tonight. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's pretty remarkable to have, hats off to him for raising 2 sons who are Big Ten wrestlers. I mean, that is such an unbelievable feat. And, coming from Brecksville, Ohio, which is an awesome program, that's such a strong family. And, these guys are critical parts to both their teams' lineups.
Really unfortunate, too. We could see Max. He's normally the heavyweight for Michigan State, but he's out for the year.
Yeah, he was having a great start to the season, really promising heavyweight for the Spartans, but wishing him a speedy recovery and hope to see more of him next year.
For his brother Luke, Mike, what does he do to try and get back into this match in this second period?
Well, he went big in that first period. It didn't pay off. He's down 5 points. He's chipped away at the riding time, which is great. Now he's got it under a minute. He's got to look to get to some offense on top and see if he can get some back points. He hasn't had success in the neutral position yet, so this is a great opportunity for him to try to chip away at that 5-point lead Rowley's got.
Okay, set, cover. Here we go. Hold it. Caution, bottom man.
A false start there, so we're going to redo this.
Yeah, just hold that, quick little pause, and then I'll blow the whistle, okay? All right, here we go.
Got to like the communication from the official, letting them know early on in the first match.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, these cautions and false starts, they can really add up, and wrestlers can oftentimes lose track of them or not really recognize they've happened. And as they tally, you're at risk of giving up points. So great job by the officials communicating, and an even better job by Rowley getting to the quick switch and securing the reversal to go up 8-1 with 1:15 left in this period.
What a performance by him. Couple of takedowns in the first period, the reversal here in the second, and immediately putting that pressure right back on Venadia, and that riding time close to climbing up. Well, nice job. Venadia gets out.
And it looks like the riding time just got to 1 minute, so he's got it for now. And he's done a good job with some of these near wrist rides and crab rides to progress that metric up. Venadia's got to get to some offense here. He's got to try to get Rowley off of the defensive, create some angles, get to some leg attacks, because if you're Rowley, you've got a great lead here and a lot of options as you're thinking about running up the score and potentially getting a major decision.
He's got 30 seconds to do it.
Let's go action, gentlemen.
Yeah, both guys sort of hanging in the tie, toe-to-toe. Really good low shot by Rowley. Great job readjusting, elevating that single leg, and just workmanlike on the finish. Finishing on top of the second period. Additional takedown to go up 11-2 with riding time. I mean, this is a great way to start the duel if you're Purdue.
Okay. 5 minutes in the books.
All right,
Rowley looking great. There's the 12th-year head coach, Tony Ersland. Man, what a couple of years they've had. Now 98 career victories, 4 All-Americans the last couple of years. I mean, that incredible finish, team-wise, their best since the early 90s last year. He's got this program trending up.
He really does, and I mean, I think we all know Purdue because of that incredible moment from Matt Ramos at the NCAA tournament 2 years ago, getting the win over Spencer Lee. Some great back points there from Rowley to go up 13-2. But going back to that, I mean, Matt Ramos and that upset, I mean, the entire wrestling world saw that. Folks outside of the wrestling world saw that. And to have a Purdue Boilermaker on your singlet, I mean, what that does for the program is it's pretty self-evident. They had an incredible finish last year, finishing 13th, another national finalist in Joey Blaze. I mean, this program has a ton of great momentum, a really good core group of guys that have come back, not gone into the transfer portal. I mean, this program is doing everything right. And you're seeing it so far with Rowley looking really good in this third period.
Yeah, Tony Ersland referenced to it earlier this week that it's still one of the moments that he remembers in thinking back of all the 12 years. Ramos having that great win, one of the biggest upsets in NCAA wrestling tournament history. It was something that sent shockwaves through the college wrestling universe.
I think the other thing he mentioned too is not only that upset, obviously, that we're all familiar with, but Parker Filius, who's a senior on that team, really great leader of that Purdue program, All-American in the blood round about a half hour later. So to have two guys have, huge milestone achievements, in the span of 30 minutes, and what that's done for the program since, really great story.
Here for Rowley, next thing, he's got the major decision right now. Is there a chance in the final 25 he can turn this into a tech fall?
I think so. I mean, he's up 12 right now. He's got riding time secured, so effectively up 13. 21 seconds left.
There is Mr. Ramos. How about that white suit he's rocking tonight? Great to have him in the room working with the 125-pounders.
Yeah, that looks like maybe a seersucker, which I probably wouldn't wear in sub-zero temperature weather, but it looks great.
Where's your Boilermaker tie?
I'm still waiting for it in the mail from Coach Ursula.
Final 10 seconds here. Looking like 4 points up on the board for Purdue, unless Rowley's got something late. Either way, that's a dominant start. Welcome back home, Purdue. James Rowley puts 4 on the board for the Boilers.
Yeah, really strong start. Complete match, dominant in all phases, and great way to start at home for the Purdue Boilermakers.
All right, so let's go to 197. Cale Whistler, Ben Venadia. Mike, this is our only ranked matchup of the night. We get it early.
Yeah, we do, and I think for Michigan State, this is probably your best wrestler on the roster. This is probably the most marquee matchup of the duel. A tough start for the Spartans, but if they can recover, get it back in the W column with 197, I think that's really important to keep their hopes of winning the duel alive.
One Venadia unable to win. Maybe brother Venadia can get a win. It would be for the other side here, as Ben Venadia is having himself a great season.
He really is. You can see how he comes out really good at getting to his hand fight initially. Good outside tricep tie. Really good adjustment there. Kind of a push single with the left hand. Whistler doing a nice job of defending, playing the edge. But Venadia being patient, trying to work up this leg, get above the knee like he's doing. He's got to be really methodical in working through this position. Whistler continues to do a nice job, but Venadia looking for that far ankle, and he gets it and secures the three-point takedown to take the early 3-0 lead.
I like he took his time there. Like he had most of it complete, but still had to finish it off.
Yeah, and I think in college wrestling, a lot of these guys can get 2 leg attacks. What happens after you get it on the leg is where folks really separate, and in that single leg position in particular, you have to be so methodical in keeping your grip tight to the leg, working up the leg towards the hip, and then progressing across to the edge. Yeah, and you can see here, all of that work on that single leg ultimately got him to that opposite leg, able to wrap up both and work into a nice ride and build up some early riding time in the first period.
Set, cover green, here we go.
Venadia actually lost to his former teammate on Sunday to Rutgers. Remy Cotton transferred over. That was one of the things Roger Chandler had talked about. That's hurt them. They've lost a couple of transfers, and he's still trying to adjust and fill out his lineup for this year, but never easy when guys do well and then head out.
Yeah, and that's one of the challenges in the current landscape, finding some of these late bloomers that come to your program. You coach them up for a year or two, and then the rest of the national scene takes notice and they can keep getting recruited. It just makes it really difficult for a lot of programs, and that's what I think is so unique about Purdue. I mean, they had such a great core last year. 13 plays at the NCAA tournament. They've got 9 starters back. They didn't lose anybody to the transfer portal, so I think it's a testament to the culture that Coach Ursula's built at Purdue, the belief in the guys that they can achieve their goals of becoming national champions in that room, and having Ramos in the room still as an assistant coach, having Joey Blaze as a returning NCAA finalist.
Okay, we're gonna go neutral, 1 red.
I mean, that stuff is huge as you think about buy-in from the team.
Well, it's been all Purdue here to start this duel, and look at this, Venadia getting in on a leg again, seeing if he get a second takedown. Whistler does get the escape, and there it is. Just great drive forward right there to finish that off.
Yeah, really good job. And again, you'll see when he gets in on the single, he's got his hands split, which is different from, I think, what a lot of folks learn early in their careers. And, if you can get that inside hand above the knee, get that inside shoulder into his hamstring, you're isolating that hip, and it just makes it so hard for that bottom guy, or I guess, defending guy in neutral, eventually bottom guy, to keep separation and fight off the leg. So really, really solid work by Venadia in this first period.
The redshirt senior out of Brecksville, already with 5 ranked wins this year. He had 18 victories a season ago, and they were, a lot of people at Purdue saying he was potentially snubbed. They thought he was going to sneak into the NCAA tournament a season ago and just missed the cut.
Green choice. That's you guys. You guys are green.
A great job, as you said, driving forward, getting that leg up, and just working up the body, and immediately getting to a ride and getting Whistler flat. I mean, this is a great start if you're Ben Venetia.
For Cale Whistler, he's the captain for Michigan State, one of them at least. Got injured last year, 9-5 season, but they absolutely love him in the wrestling room in East Lansing. A guy that Roger Chandler said, listen, we want someone that is committed 100% to wrestling and 100% to academics, and that is Cale Whistler.
Yeah, I mean, those are the guys that you want, having the most success and sort of dictating the culture of your team. And he's been an awesome representative of the university since he stepped on campus. Such a hard worker, and to be in the rankings in a really tough weight class at 197. It's very clear he's doing everything right.
Right here, he's just trying to get out from bottom. Over 2.5 minutes of Ben Venetia riding time racked up.
Yeah, he's just really been struggling to keep his base. Venetia is doing a great job of breaking him down and keeping him down. Whistler's got to do a better job of getting off the whistle quick, trying to keep his hands off the mat, keep his hips underneath him.
We're neutral here.
He gets the benefit, though, of Venetia just opting for the cut there to give him the one-point escape. And if you're Whistler, you've been, you get up 2.5 of riding time, 2 takedowns. You're only down effectively by 1 takedown if you can move quick and do work on top in the next period. So he's still got some opportunities to get himself back in this match.
Watch the face. Keep the hands out of the face.
What do you think the key is to take that first shot and finish on it and get him back even here before this period ends?
I think it'd be huge if Whistler could find some offense, get a takedown, and finish this period on top. That effectively gives him more momentum heading into the third and chips away at that riding time advantage that Venetia's built up.
Oh, you see, he's trying to take a shot there at the edge of the mat, now covering. We're going to get a reset here. 25 seconds to go in this second period.
Yeah, and he's got some good attacks and initial offense, but I think Venetia just keeps really good position, controls the center, good head-hands defense. And as you sort of climb up into these top 20 ranked guys, it's going to get harder and harder to score. So you got to be creative in setups, second, third motions to drive, attack, re-attack. And I think Whistler's just struggled to get that going so far in this match.
Well, Whistler also struggling to keep the headgear on. That's the most important part, equipment first.
Except if you're looking for cauliflower ear, which I know a lot of wrestlers view as a badge of pride these days.
Matt Ramos, they just did a video on social media for Purdue. He was the one that was getting churned out with the gnarliest cauliflower ear on the Purdue team.
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but I would also love to understand the challenges that he has using AirPods or earbuds.
Okay, Green's going to go neutral third period.
Some of that stuff. He's definitely an over-the-ear headphones guy.
Oh, my goodness.
Get some good signal with those, for sure.
You can't miss him. And right now, Ben Venetia up 6-3 as we're into this third period. He has been in control. Purdue has been in control through these first 2 matches, starting at 184 tonight.
They have, but again, I mean, the score is not that deep in comparison to kind of how we've seen Venetia dominate these first 2 periods. If Whistler can get a takedown or even just kind of stay on the offensive and maybe get some stalling calls in his favor, he can put himself back in this match. He's just struggling to get that opening, and Venetia's doing a good job of keeping him tied up and keeping good position.
And he's got to get to work, Mike, because that riding time point, 2:36, is there. So essentially, he's down by 4. There you go. You see it secured.
Yeah, and that's a really good attack from him. A good job getting up to the body. Great whizzer here by Venetia, but Whistler's got this seatbelt that he can still use to his advantage if he keeps the pressure going into Venetia.
Gets that arm free.
And this is a good spot for Whistler if he can get some height, get some pressure on Venetia's head. He might be able to create an opportunity, but the referee calls a stalemate, and they go back up to their feet with 44 seconds left.
That, though, the best we have seen from him getting in on a potential shot. And, yeah, Dad is getting a little – you starting to bob and weave here. Only 44 seconds to go.
Yeah, I think, you're comfortable if you're Dad, but I think you see some of the things I'm seeing where it's not quite out of reach yet. Let's see if Anita can keep good defense, control the center of the mat. Really good shot there by Whistler. Probably the best one of the match so far. Let's see if he can work up above that knee, control that far side, and he does.
That's an immediate release.
With the escape, he's now down by 2 effectively, so a takedown could win this match for him. Really good shot. Wow. Amazing takedown from Whistler.
Whistler in this third period has just come up with a ton of energy, and he's in front. And Whistler, a guy that they say is tremendously coachable, fights all the way to the end for the comeback victory.
What an amazing performance for Whistler, and a great shot of adrenaline for this Michigan State Spartan team.
Great work by Whistler. And he hadn't been able to finish on shots. He goes in multiple times, and here's the winner, Michigan State on the board. When you come to Purdue or you do any college wrestling, you want to get your name on the wall. Matt Ramos, the latest at being All-American for the Boilermakers just a couple of years ago. He's a little guy. These are the big guys, Josh Terrell and Hayden Filpovich. Let's get to heavyweight. Mike, I know you know something about this club.
I do, and I think the heavyweights like going early in the duel. They don't like being the caboose all the time, so it's nice to see them a little earlier in the action.
So here go the big fellas off at 285. Tell you what, pretty good so far through the first duels. Michigan State coming from behind right there with Whistler. And making this thing 4-3 after 2.
Yeah, phenomenal comeback there in the 197 match. And, I mean, totally swinging the momentum back in Michigan State's favor. Let's see if Terrell here can get some offense of his own, keep that going for the Spartans to keep them in this duel.
Well, Terrell, a guy that is wrestling for Max Finati, as we mentioned, he tore his ACL in the Southern Scuffle. Otherwise, you could see 3 straight Venadia brothers wrestling to start this duel. He's the redshirt junior out of Holt. On the other side, Filpovich. Boy, he has been all over the place. A 4th-year starter, but he was heavyweight last year. He split between heavyweight and 184 in 2024, 197 in 2023. Hey, Coach, just put me out there. I'll go.
Yeah, and I mean, that variety of exposure to the upper weights is really unique, and that really goes into his style. He's got some unique hips for the weight class. I think he's really crafty when folks do get in on the legs, and has some good offense of his own. So that experience has definitely translated well into the heavyweight weight class. And Terrell, even though he was backing up Max before he got hurt, he's got some Big Ten experience. He's had success in his own right, and I think these two match up really well. It's really going to come down to who can get to some offense, who can create some action, and score first fundamentally.
Roger Chandler told us that Josh Terrell, even though, as you mentioned, he's technically the backup, he could start at a lot of places at heavyweight, including in the best conference in wrestling right here in the Big Ten.
Yeah, and he wrestles a really good Big Ten style. He likes to dig underhooks. He likes to use those underhooks to move his opponent, throw by to a snatch single. You can see him here with the left underhook in, doing a good job controlling center and generating the stall call. Actually, it looks like the stall was green, so they probably dinged Terrell there on the edge. But nonetheless, he's really good in the upper body and can shuck that by. And like I said, the Spartans are going to need that in order to keep the momentum going.
This kind of feels like a swing momentum match early, with both teams getting 1 win in each of the first 2 bouts.
Yeah, and I have this down as a toss-up going into this duel, and I think for Michigan State to be competitive and come away with the win, they have to come out on the other side of most of these toss-ups. Like I said at the beginning, Purdue is so solid in the middleweights, which we haven't yet seen, and that's going to be where we end the duel. So Michigan State has to start strong and keep the momentum. You see there, Terrell doing a good job controlling the hand fight, getting Filipovic to the edge, and I think generating enough for the referee to award him that first point and take the 1-0 lead with 10 seconds left in the first.
First matchup, we haven't seen a takedown in the first period.
Shocking at the heavyweight weight class.
I know, right? Big fella slow stuff down a little bit. He wasn't a heavyweight. Roger Chandler, 3-time All-American at Indiana, 10th season now at Michigan State, but he has been there for nearly 30 years. Remember, he learned under longtime head coach Tom Minkle, and he said he just loves the family-oriented atmosphere in East Lansing. That's kept him there.
Yeah, he really does, and I mean he's done a great job with the program. He's been so important to them for so long, and I think his style just permeates how these Spartans approach the wrestling. He's a hand fight, kind of control the center, look for reattacks type mindset from that late 90s era of wrestling, and we've seen that come out well for the Spartans in the 197 bout, and Terrell going up 2-0 in the second period already. Doing just that, it's looking pretty good for Sparty so far.
Well, I like Roger because he didn't make any excuses. He's talked about it. They've lost some guys to the transfer portal. They've had some injuries. He said, we're so focused on the process. You can't just worry about the results, and he continues to tell the guys that. And that's all you can do, especially at this point in the middle of Big Ten dual season where it gets tough.
Absolutely. Interesting there, Terrell, doing a good job of dominating the hand fight like I've talked about, but there he actually gets dinged for a stall call against him. The refs will look on the edge if the person pushing out is not looking to be offensive and is just looking for a push out. The refs deem that as a limited action and will actually ding them with the stall call. So the aggressiveness actually working against Terrell in that sequence. But again, still up 2-0 on the scoreboard with 40 seconds left in the second.
Kind of just waiting for somebody to take that shot, get in there and go after it, because we've not seen it yet from these two.
Yeah, and I think at heavyweight, it really comes down to one attack in that right moment, and guys are oftentimes reluctant to do that because how big these people are. I mean, when you go in and you miss, those hips coming down from a 260-pound, 270-pound person, just a lot of risk, and these guys want to wait for the perfect setup and the perfect opportunity to create that offense, and that obviously oftentimes leads to a lull in the action, and kind of what we're seeing here.
Coming up, it's a pair of Friday Night Wrestling top 10 tools as Ohio State clashes with Minnesota, followed by Iowa against Nebraska. It's all still to come on the Big Ten Network and the Fox Sports app. I mean, where else would you rather be than a triple header on a night where nobody needs to go outside in the Midwest or really across the country? Sit down, relax, watch some really good Big Ten wrestling.
Yeah, grab some hot cocoa, sit by the fire, and watch some strong Midwestern boys just throw each other around.
You got some extra hot cocoa for me?
I might. I can get you some at the break.
Okay. I'm looking forward to that. Right here, we're looking to see if anything changes, Mike, in the third period. Can someone finish with that one takedown? There is the escape to tighten this thing back up for Filipovic.
And I think worth noting, Filipovic gets the escape, now down by only 1 point. Terrell, even though he has dominated the hand fight, he does have a stalling call against him. So Filipovic with a good job attacking with this sweep single, unable to really hit the corner. Terrell shifting him up his hips, getting so much pressure on Filipovic's head.
Don't pull out on that.
Elevating that elbow, trying to break that lock and circle around.
Terrell looks like he's in good position here. If he can get through that, you can see him trying to maneuver his way around.
Yeah, and he's doing all the right stuff. He's just got to continue to keep those hips in. When guys focus on that elbow, their hips can come out, and that releases pressure. It makes it easier for the bottom guy to defend. A really gritty job by Filipovic holding onto that leg, and he gets the credit for being offensive. So I think if he gets another shot or two, he might get that stall call he's looking for and be able to force overtime.
Who's got the better endurance here in the final 35 seconds at heavyweight?
Again, if you're Terrell, you want to just continue to tie Filipovic up. Unable to do so there. Great shot by Filipovic. If you're him, you got to get your elbows to your torso. You got to try to work to get your head out at some point. You got to move those feet and create an angle.
Terrell's okay, just kind of sitting right here. He's looking closer to maybe getting that takedown, but only 5 seconds left. And that's going to do it. Back-to-back wins by the Spartans, and Michigan State has their first team lead of the night.
Yeah, and a great job by Terrell just wrestling his match. I mean, he likes to be in underhooks. He likes to control the center. He's a big guy. And he was able to do enough to get a stalling point and came close on a couple of those defensive takedowns.
All right, so now we go to 125. Nick Corday, Ashton Jackson ready to do battle as we flip to the little guys. And now all of a sudden, Michigan State, they've got that momentum that we were talking about.
They do, and again, I think the start at 184 was really to their benefit, and that's probably why Coach Chandler wanted to do that. He didn't know he was going to get 184, obviously, but mixing this up and giving yourself a shot to win more toss-up matches early, it just builds that momentum for your team and gets your wrestlers locked in a little bit more to give yourself a shot at chipping away at more of those toss-ups, which they're going to need heading into match 4.
Maybe an opportunity here for Michigan State to build. This is a weight class where Tony Ursuline told us they're still trying to figure out what to do at 125. You got Ashton Jackson. Isaiah Quintero also has wrestled there, but they've got good coaches in the room to help 125 build up and get really good.
Yeah, and Ashton's done a good job as of recent. Had a nice win last week against Maryland. And, this is the vacancy kind of by Ramos now graduating and going into a coaching role. And, finding 25-pounders is tough to do. It's a small person, and it's a tough weight cut. And I think Jackson's done a good job of adjusting to the weight class, as has Corday. But to your point, I think this is one where, Corday is really savvy. He's a good scrambler, and I think this also feels like a toss-up, and it really comes down to which guy wants to go first and get out to the lead.
Nick Corday, the Spartan out of Johns Creek, Georgia, stepped in at 125. Caleb Wean was the NCAA qualifier last year at 25. He's bumped up. We're expecting to see him next at 133.
Yeah, and he's one of their stronger wrestlers as well. So, again, it makes this toss-up all the more important. Corday he's a good scrambler, like I said, but he's also really good on top. So if he can get to some offense there, commit to the ride, and maybe look to blow things open with a tilt or two, that's going to help him as well.
The battle of maybe who's got the better leg tat between these two guys.
There are a lot of good leg tattoos, arm tattoos, back tattoos all across the Big Ten. I think that ranking would be pretty interesting to see who comes out on top.
Those sharks on Corday's leg, is that a hammerhead shark I see there?
It might be. I don't know how many sharks there are in Lansing, but you would know better than me.
I don't think there's any oceans in East Lansing.
Lake Michigan's pretty dangerous, though. You never know what's in there.
That's right. Well, second straight match where you're not seeing a takedown yet in this first period. These guys battle each other, heavy hands at the top.
And I think, like I said, Corday is kind of more of a defensive wrestler. He likes to react and scramble. So it's really incumbent on Jackson to probably initiate some of this offense. But, probably watched film this week, doesn't want to put himself in a bad shot or force a bad shot. Maybe the strategy for him is to keep it close, in this first period. And it looks like they're trending towards that with no points on the board with about 10 seconds left.
Work out of it. Good job.
Looks like we're going to be scoreless after 3 minutes. Off to the second we go. Ashton Jackson, the redshirt sophomore out of LaPorte, Indiana. That was something cool we talked about Coach Ursuline about. He's got a lot of really talented Indiana wrestlers. And there's a lot of talent in the Midwest, but Indiana, I feel like, is a hidden gem.
It really is, and they've had a lot of success, recently, obviously Purdue, but also folks who have wrestled in the Indiana scholastic scene. Just speaking from experience at Northwestern, the Davison brothers, very strong, a multiple-time All-American Luke Davison, Stevan Micic, who was there when I was first at Northwestern, wrestled in Michigan, world champion for Serbia, from Indiana, Jason Surtis, national champ from Indiana, Crown Point High School. So there's so many good guys out of this state, and to also be adjacent to Michigan, to Ohio, to Illinois, to Missouri a little bit. I mean, it's just a great place to have a program, and to recruit locally and have that be your talent pool. They're definitely worse places to be.
You can understand why the Big Ten is so loaded. All the great states up in the Midwest. Jackson, a two-time Indiana State champ in 2021 and 2022. Really good ride right here from Jackson. Built that riding time up over 50 seconds. Cardone just trying to break that hand grasp and get free, but it's not working.
Yeah, and he's doing a good job of keeping this lock and working to get the mat returned. Doing it in an urgent fashion so that the refs don't ding him for stalling. Able to get the fresh start with the riding time secured. We'll see if Corday still has that fight and urgency to get that escape now that he knows that he's over the minute mark.
I feel like that's something you don't see as much at 125. Just a really good ride. But, Nick Corday, that's something that Coach Chandler said. He's really good on top, and we're seeing it on the other side from Jackson. He's just punishing right now in this second period.
Yeah, it can be such a differentiator, too. I mean, 25-pounders they're obviously smaller, very quick, a lot of action on their feet, a lot of quick shot, reshot. So if you can slow things down and really be controlling in the top position and grind on your opponent, that fatigue is really going to set in once positions shift, and it's just going to give you a better opportunity to get to your offense, when you get back into the neutral position or get out quickly on bottom, if you do choose to go down in the third, which it looks like Jackson probably will do if he can ride Corday out.
We about to see a 125-pounder ride out for entire 2 minutes? It's looking that way. Ashton Jackson, what a second period. Hey, Sunday, see more wrestling live on Big Ten Plus when the Spartans are on the mat in Bloomington for a showdown with Indiana. Download the Big Ten Plus app today. It's always game on. You think they have some sort of wrestling brass spittoon like they have for football in that rivalry?
If they don't, they should probably look into getting one made.
We need more rivalry trophies in wrestling.
Yeah, all the trophies in wrestling have a little guy on the top. We got to change that.
Well, this is going to be really interesting because Jackson was great on top in the second, and we know Corday is excellent on top. We might be scoreless here going to sudden victory.
If we do get to that point, I do not remember the last time I've seen that at 125.
Wouldn't that be something? And to get that at 125
makes the heavyweights look pretty good.
I know.
And I think what's different in Corday's ride versus Jackson, Corday looks like he has made a little bit of progress towards the tilt. A lot of Jackson's riding was, good controlling the hips, hustle riding, breaking down flat. He didn't really threaten for the back points, but I think Corday's got that in his toolbox. He's got double boots in right now. He's working for a power half. And he might, because of that, be able to maybe even generate a stalling call in his favor. Refs go for his stalemate instead for a fresh restart with 48 seconds left.
Well, Ashton Jackson happy about that because you're right. Double boots in, arms were up on that half, and it was not in a good spot. Is there anything for him off the restart? Riding time has moved under a minute, so that's a void right now unless there's some back points for Corday.
And he's looking for that suck back with the leg in. Was a little close there. Jackson doing a good job of keeping his body tight and not getting stretched out. If you're Corday, you want to stay under those elbows. You want to suck Jackson as close to you as possible and just try to isolate those shoulder blades enough to get a 2 count. If you can do that, I mean, that would be a huge, huge win for the Spartans at 125. Good job here, looking to frame the head. He's got his hips in, but a good job hipping down by Jackson.
Wow. We just saw something you may not see for a very long time. 125-pounders back-to-back full 2-minute rideouts.
I wonder if they're going to get a takedown in overtime or if we're going to go to top-bottom rideout.
Oh, my goodness. All right, off we go to sudden victory. First takedown wins this thing.
And again, both guys were pretty reluctant to be offensive in that first period when we were on our feet. Now both theoretically are a little bit softened up from getting ridden out and exerting pressure on the ride. So, maybe that gives somebody a little bit more confidence to go for it. If you're Corday, you do have the momentum in having erased the riding time and kind of just gotten off of that ride. So Jackson should be a little bit more tired than Corday. So if Corday's got a go-to shot, he should probably pull the trigger, because I don't think Jackson's going to do it.
So many times it is that counter off the shot where you can catch a wrestler, so you got to be careful here.
Go action, gentlemen, let's go.
It kind of seems these two still feeling each other out after they spent 4 straight minutes on top of one another in the second and third periods.
I think the thing too is they're probably scared to attack because they both know each other's a good scrambler. I think the reality is you just have to create the action of a scramble and it will take care of itself. So
there's a shot from Corday trying to come up through.
Yeah, really good job darting in, getting height quick. He's working out the back door. He's trying to put pressure towards the head. Looking for the fall, potentially. But a good job rotating.
No, we're good here.
Now he's on that top leg.
Yeah, nothing yet.
He's got to continue to flip off that leg and work towards the head, which he has.
Now he's in a great spot. He's getting swipes. Nick Corday.
And he exposed Jackson in that neutral danger position. Switched off to a headlock. Got some back points. And a huge win in overtime for the Spartans.
Wow. Michigan State with 3 straight victories. It was the shark tats on the leg that had to have done it.
He was seeking blood in his pursuit of victory. And, I mean, that was a very, very impressive scramble in overtime.
Might be taking a peek at this, yeah. It's a referee's challenge. Oh, Corday was trying to fight through. Well, he had legs kicking in his face there. You could see there was some blood in his mouth, but I wonder what they're peeking at right here.
I think fundamentally, what happened was he got him in the neutral danger position by switching off to the head. And he was holding him on his back, and that obviously was creating some anxiety. That led to an adjustment.
And then we had 4 near fall, match over.
And it looks like the refs agree that they saw that. No illegal headlock. Very impressive finish for the Spartans.
They've won 3 in a row. Purdue needs a stopper. Blake Borman is the guy that they will turn to. The transfer from Chattanooga hits the mat when we return. Pretty good, doesn't it?
It does. It feels more like soup weather, though, given how cold it is outside right now.
Well, right now, it's Michigan State that's dictating things, and this is a fun match here. We told you we only have 1 ranked matchup tonight. That already happened, but Caleb Weand is ranked 31st, and on the other side, Blake Borman, one of the better ones for Purdue.
Yeah, he's really come on this year, but as you mentioned, Caleb, as an NCAA qualifier last year, 125 for the Spartans, up a weight class. He is one of the leaders on this team, and really good job shaking off that early attack by Borman and getting to this front head position. Doing a good job controlling the edge. Let's see if he can maybe create some offense of his own off of this. Doesn't look like it. The refs are going to call a stalemate.
Now, Caleb Weand, the redshirt sophomore from Macomb. He was the NCAA qualifier last year for Michigan State at 125, 13 victories.
Watch the face, gentlemen. Watch the face. Keep him up. Keep him up.
There you see where we're at. It started with a win for Purdue and then 3 straight victories for the Spartans. Well, these two teams had not met since January of 2022, and it was right here in West Lafayette. Michigan State beat a then-ranked Purdue. That one came down to criteria. So the Spartans know about coming here and wrestling well in the state of Indiana.
They do, and you look at those 3 matches outside of the 7-0 score on the last one, but it was in overtime. I mean, these are really tight bouts. It really highlights how evenly matched they were in some of these early weight classes, and the chips just falling in Michigan State's favor, and they've got to be really proud of how they started on this road trip.
And so far, they are spoiling the return home for Purdue. In the meantime, Blake Borman trying to ride the success that he had over the weekend. A big win at Rutgers against top 30 ranked Dylan Shawver. That was a 4-1 victory. He was able to get that in sudden victory. Some tight matches out there on the East Coast on Sunday between the Boilers and the Scarlet Knights.
Yeah, and that win against Schaumburg, I mean, that's the kind of win that gives you a ton of confidence if you're Boardman. That's a really strong competitor, great accolades historically, and you need a couple of those to stack in general throughout a career to help you kind of ratchet up your goals and what you're capable of. But to get that in the Big Ten dual season early, it's a great sign of what's to come for Boardman as we get later into the Big Ten slate and closer to the conference and NCAA tournament.
It was interesting talking to both coaches. You could tell they both don't love the transfer portal, but if you're going to go utilize it for Tony Ersland, nice to get a guy that has been at Chattanooga, competed for 4 years. He was a NCAA qualifier, SoCon runner-up. Get that guy with experience and that has had a lot of collegiate success.
Absolutely. It's a guy who knows how to go about the program the right way. He's obviously holding himself to a high standard and being consistent in his performance and meshing that with the culture that you already have in-house and what you're doing. It's a nice compliment to get a taste of the outside, and I think it's been a really strong ad for this Purdue roster.
A lot of jockeying back and forth, but after 3 minutes, nothing at 133. Again for Purdue, I mean, you're looking at this going, probably still too early to say must-win match, but they really need to kind of enter back into the chat into this duel.
They do, and we had this strong initial attack from Boardman early in that first period, unable to convert, but I agree. I mean, they've got a lot of strength starting at 49 in their lineup, but you have to start to build some momentum, and you can't just put the pressure on those guys to come back and win the duel for you.
Do you feel that pressure as a wrestler, though, when you see the team score and you're the next guy up going, I need to win this?
I think you feel it a little bit. It's more the momentum swings in duels are real. If you know that you're favored to win a match, but you see your team losing a couple matches in a row, it just kind of subconsciously plays with you a little bit mentally, and maybe doesn't have you your sharpest, your strongest going out. So I think these team performances can impact individual performances in the duel. So getting momentum heading into the break here at match 5, before Coach Ersland addresses the team, I think is really, really important for the Boilermakers.
So far, we are nip and tuck here.
Slight pause, right? Slight pause, and then I'll blow the whistle. Okay, Green, take your spot.
Just trying to get reset. Again, our official tonight. Good communication with the wrestlers out there on the mat, making sure they're aware of what's going on.
You move.
Another false start.
That's the second one. Next one's a point.
Okay, so that's 2 false starts on Blake Borman. You can hear the official saying, you do that one more time, it's going to be a point on the other side for Wien.
Yeah, and it's tough to give those up early in the match in the second period. You're going to see a different reaction now from Boardman. I don't think he's going to have as much urgency on bottom, as you see there, because he already gave up 2 of those early start warnings.
Gets to his feet, trying to scurry free, and he does. Great footwork right there. And so Boardman does get the first point of the match.
Yeah, and a really good job also kind of keeping the hands on the guy as he escapes and getting to front head position and trying to work for a leg. Even though he didn't get it, really good chain wrestling and interesting acrobatic defense there from Bowman.
There it is again, just scrambling around. Breaks the hand fight right there.
And you can see from Boardman that urgency to pass the head and get to a leg attack. And that's the sign of a mature wrestler who's built really good habits in the room, thinks about chain wrestling, and one of those could open up for him at some point in this match.
Is that Boardman trying to jump over Wien there on the edge of the mat?
Yeah, I think he was. That's a move I think he probably saw on TikTok that some guys have done before, but it's pretty low conversion from my experience.
You seem like a TikTok guy, right?
So work out of that.
I am not a TikTok guy.
Again, we've got good action here. Oh, look at this. Big time mat return, and there's your first 3 of the match.
And a great way to mitigate, a scrambler or defense is to just get your hips underneath you, grab both legs, take him off the mat, and control the descent. And that's exactly what we saw Boardman do there. Really solid textbook, workman-like finish, and aggressive on the edge of the mat with the roll-through hazard tilt. Unable to hold it for back points. But a really nice sequence there from Boardman.
And this is exactly what Purdue was hoping for. Still 2 minutes, 14 seconds to go, but Blake Borman has put them in good position.
Yeah, and this start is really important, and finishing the period on top is huge. If he gives up an escape here, it's a fundamentally different third period.
Ian gets himself up to that base. Not much time, though. Good elevation from Borman, and again, returns him back to the mat. Good second period right there from Blake Borman.
Yeah, it really is, and it was underscored by this amazing takedown, really good chain wrestling, double leg off the mat, controlling the descent, getting the takedown, keeping him flat, getting right into the cross wrist. Coach Ursuline loves it, and that's the type of wrestling that he wants to see out of his guys, and he hasn't seen that so far in these first couple matches.
And again, all it takes is one match, and that can re-energize your team. Here, looking for an escape, and then it would be a takedown to even things up if he could get free.
Action here, let's go. I got neither guy right
and if you're
now.
him, he looks like he's sort of trying to bait Borman into a stall call or a locked hands or something like that, which I can understand. But to your point, he's down 4. He's got to have some urgency and get this escape quick to give him adequate time to work towards a takedown.
He's coming off having to wrestle the #1 guy at 133, and Lucas Bird, the reigning national champ. He fell 8-1 at the Jennison Fieldhouse last Friday. Just trying to get something going here in the third.
And he's getting this quad pod position a lot. And I think he's thinking reversal and hip through like he tried there, but those reversals are nice, and going for the big home run could work here, but I think Borman's just being really cautious and controlling the hips, and he's got a nice lead, so I think you just got to just get back to basics and get your escape and go for it the old-fashioned way.
Blake Borman, in the meantime, now has driven that riding time up over a minute, and he just continues to hammer down Caleb Weand on the mat.
Yeah, and mentally, as the bottom guy, seeing that riding time go up over a minute, having a couple of your escape attempts not work, getting broken down flat like he was just there, it just mentally makes it so much more challenging to have that confidence to initiate the comeback.
Shout out 125 and Wordy 133. We're getting some good rides in these smaller matchups. 23 seconds left for Weand. What's the plan here? How do you get out of this?
I think he had a moment earlier in the third period where he could have just worked for the escape, looked to get the takedown and tie things up, but that time has passed. So now he does have to go for a bigger reversal back point type sequence, but Borman's already felt that coming from him. I think he's going to be smart here and control that near ankle and keep his hips behind. And really, really strong showing from Borman. Great second period that will lead him to victory.
Boilers needed it. Blake Borman delivered it. Second win of the night for Purdue, and that gets them right back into this thing as we get through the halfway mark of this duel.
Yeah, that's why I let it go.
Yeah, So let's take a peek as we make it through the midway. We started at 184, and James Rowley, he was dominant, ready to go with the second half of this duel. Moments ago, we caught up with Roger Chandler. All right, Coach, so after 5, what do you think? You guys found a way to win 3 matches there.
Yeah, our guys are competing. I think the biggest thing right now is, they're doing a good job at top of riding. They're not necessarily turning us, but we got to get our butts off bottom. And that just comes to effort and attitude, continuation wrestling.
What's your message for Sean Larkin here, a guy that you didn't expect to have in the lineup, but he's coming up in a critical spot at 141?
Yeah, Sean, he's kind of a young kid for us. He hasn't had much mat time since November because he's been injured, and we had some other injuries in our lineup. But he has an opportunity right now to go out there and compete in his first Big Ten match, or maybe it's his second. But he's got a game plan. He's going to go out there, see if we can execute it. As far as we know, he's a left leg lead, and he has to control that left hand, which is Grayson Clark's attack hand.
Coach, thanks for your time.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, Roger Chandler right there. It is going to be Sean Larkin's second Big Ten match. Last one coming in a Tech Fall loss to Rutgers last year. On the other side, we also say welcome back to Grayson Clark, who's back in the lineup for Tony Ersland.
Yeah, and he's been a really strong part of this lineup. Great to see him back in action. Multiple-time NCAA qualifier, Big Ten championship place winner. And you heard it there from Coach. Really good with that left hand and how he attacks the legs. Immediately in on that left-handed single, elevating off the ground. Wasting no time and energy in getting to that first takedown and taking the 3-0 lead.
Now looking to try and get some tilt as well.
Yeah, great job getting to that cross wrist, throwing in that bar arm. Such a brutal tilt for the bottom man. But Clark doing a good job of holding firm and getting that 4 count.
And he gets 4 up on the board, so immediately he's up 7-zip. And we're only 40 seconds in. Grayson Clark, the junior from Wrightstown, Wisconsin, 2-time NCAA qualifier, finished 7th at the Big Tens last year. And his first time wrestling since January 2nd. Looked like he was ready to get back out there.
Yeah, clearly ready, and I'm sure Coach Ersland had a nice speech there at halftime to get the Boilermakers fired up, and coming out wasting no time, going out to a quick lead. And if you're him, you're only a minute into this match effectively.
Okay, Red, you're down.
Again, really good knee pull single, immediately coming up, great back trip. If you're Clark, you got to think about, do I want to keep going for points on top, maybe get another tilt and build my lead that way, or do I want to cut Larkin and try to generate more offense with my takedowns?
We've only had one bonus point victory so far, and it was Rowley to kick us off. Then Michigan State won 3 in a row. And then Borman came back and finished things off before we got to intermission to get Purdue back to within a couple. Thought we would see Jaden Crumpler. He's normally their guy at 141, but not going, and it's a tough task for a redshirt freshman, Sean Larkin, who's only in his second Big Ten duel of his career.
Yeah, and I mean, that's kind of life in the Big Ten, though. You're a young guy, you're going to get in the lineup at some point, and these guys are tough that you're going to be competing against. And Clark, again, doing a good job getting to that cross wrist, roll through tilt, racking up some additional back points. Ref awards the 4 near fall, so they go up 11-0. But that's what makes this conference so tough is, you're being tested consistently by the best guys in the nation every weekend.
It is such a gauntlet, and that's why we love watching it. January to March, get these guys ready, and you have the NCAA championships, but the Big Ten championships are almost as tough, maybe tougher with the talent in this league.
I mean, I think you see the concentration of talent and the results of that tournament. There's very commonly guys who place higher at the NCAA tournament than they do at the Big Ten tournament because there's that familiarity. There's just that, grind of having wrestled really tough people 3-4 times a year. That it's just challenging, and it really battle tests you and gets you ready for the NCAA tournament and leads to some pretty interesting end results.
Right now, Sean Larkin looks destined to try and get 5 points up on the board for the Boilers, looking for a Tech Fall. Well, for Sean Larkin at this point, you're probably not going to win, but you got to fight, and you don't want to give up those bonus points. Your team's in front, and you want to limit the damage here.
Exactly, and you got to fight this cradle with short time left, and doing a good job, but totally agree. It's all about minimizing the damage here for Michigan State.
All right, let's take a peek. It's not quite the quad box, but a tri-box. Can we go with that here? We got a full night of wrestling. Ohio State at Minnesota, top 10 matchup. Then we've got Iowa at Nebraska. Shane Sparks is out there live for that one. What a great night for college wrestling in the Big Ten.
And these are some phenomenal matchups. That Nebraska match in particular, going to be very interested to see the end result there. Iowa with a tough outing last week against Penn State. We'll see if they can bounce back.
And how does this one finish? I mean, this has been a back-and-forth duel for the first 5 bouts.
Yeah, I think the bonus points are really important, and Grayson Clark obviously well poised to get that in this bout. Really good attack there from Larkin. Doing a good job of working up the leg and securing the far side, but Clark's still in on a high crotch of his own, so the refs are going to let the action continue. But bonus points are just so important to make up for how many matches you actually win. And they're going to tie up the total matches won if they do end up with the victory here. But they'll take the lead on, obviously, total count because of the great work that Clark and Rowley have done to get those bonus points.
Well, riding time point is locked in. So this is 15-0 if he stays on top. Or maybe he can get some back points and finish this thing off before we get to the end.
Yeah, and the calculus you do as a wrestler in a dual meet is, the tech 12 is obviously great for team implications, but if I do go for the back points and I feel confident I can get them there, you want to position yourself to also try to work for the fall, because if you can settle in and get that, you're going to get that extra team point, which, with Purdue being down, is pretty important.
Tough to do calculus when you're given everything in 7 minutes. I don't know how you guys do that.
At Northwestern, we do calculus while we drill high crotches. I don't know how other programs do it.
Just built different up there in Evanston. Now here we go with some back tilt there. That should just about do it. It looks like the count. Well, either way, you're going to get the riding time point. It's going to be a tech fall victory for Grayson Clark.
Looks like the back points, he didn't quite settle in for that 2 count. He got a couple 1 counts there from the referees, so wasn't actually able to get those additional points. But the escape here will do it for Grayson Clark if he can get out quick.
Yeah, good point. All right. 2 more minutes up on the board.
This is Larkin's first opportunity on top. Did a good job digging that deep claw ride, throwing in the cross body. Now he's working up top. Maybe he can get something going here. Sort of his last opportunity
Go right here
to put himself in this match.
Well, you got to like the fight. I mean, Larkin is not giving up. He's going after it. In a tough spot here, trying to fill in the lineup, and he's battling. There it is. All right. Tech fall. Well worked right there. Welcome back, Grayson Clark. That's got to feel good.
Yeah, and that's a complete match from him, especially when you're coming back in after a couple weeks off. Wanting to make sure you're getting the positions, feel that conditioning, execute in a live match scenario, especially at this point in the season. That's a really good showing from Grayson Clark.
And that puts Purdue right back in front. Let's move to 149. Here we go. Clayton Jones against Gavin Brown.
Yeah, really interesting matchup. Gavin Brown having a great season, 15-6, cracked into the national rankings. But these two have wrestled before 2 years ago. And interesting enough, Clayton Jones caught Gavin Brown and actually pinned him. So even though the recent success Brown has had, it has him ranked higher than Clayton Jones, the history actually is in Jones' favor. And the Spartans really need that to give themselves a shot at winning this duel.
And Jones had been out since they went to Ann Arbor and lost in that duel against Michigan on January 9th. He was in concussion protocol, so great to see that he's back out there. Gavin Brown, well experienced within the Big Ten. He spent 3 years at Ohio State. And he adds more experience right in the top half of this lineup for Tony Ersland, just like his buddy Blake Borman at 133. Nice shot here from Jones, but a good reshot right there. Brown's picked up the leg.
Yeah, really calculated funk roll that we saw there from Brown. Quick switch, great action by both guys. Jones with a really nice shrug there, using Brown's pressure against him. Just not enough mat space to convert. But again, a nice glimpse of the abilities of both guys. I mean, really exciting action 50 seconds into the bout, and a great sign of what's to come. Brown getting right back in on the leg.
I feel like across sports, we love offense, but there's something to be said for good defense still, and both guys showcased that right there.
Yeah, and both guys are showing both. They can get in on leg attacks, which is obviously incredibly important to be successful in this sport, but that high-level defense and creativity is what really separates folks. And Jones doing a good job of very traditional heavy hips in, shifting that lock up to the high thigh and putting pressure on Brown's shoulders, and Brown demonstrating his savviness with that funk roll. Really good technique from both guys.
Do you have any of that in you back in your day, that funk roll?
I had a little bit of funk. We did a good job of teaching funk systematically at Northwestern. There's a lot of people who have broken it down and understand the science behind it. Ben Askren's obviously the most noteworthy there, but Jason Welch, who's a teammate of mine, really pioneered his own version of funk, and he taught a lot of us on the team while we were there how to think through things, as did Coach Storniolo. Really good sequence there. Brown in a great position with the Navy ride, able to convert, get that takedown. He's still got that Navy ride locked up. If he can elevate that leg, he might be able to get some back points. Doing a good job working. He might have a cradle locked up. Interesting cradle. You got Jones near arm through. Sort of an odd position.
Just kind of a bear hug here, but he's got that knee tight.
He's got to be careful, though, because it's going to be hard to isolate the back. Only able to get the 1 count, and actually gives up the reversal for Jones. Funky position, and a good job wrestling through by Jones.
These guys have been kind of twitchy, sprawling all over the place, and now on the other side, Jones looking for the cradle. Uh-oh!
And we mentioned earlier, this is how he won last time. He was able to catch Brown in a cradle and get the fall. He's got short time here. He's got to be able to adjust.
5 seconds to keep both shoulders off the mat. And it looks like he's going to hang on to stay alive in this match.
A ton of action in that first period. Good job of being situational and just adjusting his body and getting that reversal, and then immediately going to the cradle, rolling through. Really gutsy call on his part, and was well poised to settle into that position, but just not enough time. But compensated with back points and takes the 6-3 lead heading into the second period.
You know, it's funny, we started talking about defense when that period began, and we got 9 points up on the board after 3 minutes.
Yeah, I think both these guys are not afraid to light it up, and we love to see that energy early in the match. Let's see if the conditioning is there for both guys to keep that pace high and maintain the action in periods 2 and 3.
Now back points on the other side from Brown. Back and forth we go.
Yeah, good job getting to that, we call it a Cassidy ride, that arm on the back, and then using that knee as a pry to tilt over. Just such a brutal position. The ref's looking to make sure that arm's at 90 degrees or more. Brown doing a good job of that and able to get right back to it and rack up more near fall points.
I mean, Gavin Brown got shut out 2-0 against Rutgers' Andrew Clark on Sunday, and he is just racking up the points. And Purdue finally back at home for the first time in 2026. 13 up on the board.
Yeah, what's interesting is he just keeps going back to this same tilt, and he's able to do that as long as he breaks that initial lock and starts fresh, which he's done. Jones hasn't quite been able to adjust and keep that right hand pinned down, and Brown is having a field day getting to where he likes to be, and looks like he's loading up to try to get more near fall points.
In the meantime, Jones has got to be getting tired here, just spending this entire period on bottom, just doing anything he can to get up.
Yeah, right now he's fighting to keep that arm back. His hips are flat on the mat, head's on the mat. It's just really hard to make progress if you're Jones, and getting that arm back is job one, and he's really struggled this entire period to defend that right side of his body.
We got stalling thrown up there on Jones, and now more tilt. What a second period right here from Gavin Brown. Back points galore for the Boiler.
Yeah, he effectively got 12 points off of that same tilt in that 2-minute period. So really good job of pressuring that side of the body, being consistent, methodical, and I mean, what a change of events from almost getting pinned in that first period to being up by 11 points at the end of the second.
If that isn't a great lesson about why you fight, I mean, even when you're on your back, to keep going, because he's now gotten this opportunity. He's run with it so far.
Okay, well, here we go.
Yeah, it looks like they adjusted the scoreboard, and it's 15-6 Gavin Brown, but
15-6 is the score according to the official scorekeeper.
Totally agree. I mean, wrestling through positions, that effort at the end of the first period obviously paid off, and looks like he wants to go back on top because he just scored a bunch of points, so it makes a ton of sense.
Yeah.
Okay, set, cover.
Thought we only had 13. I mean, you score so many points, you lose count. It's actually 15.
Okay. Ready? Take your spot. Remove the hold. Wait for that whistle. Okay, here we go. Take your spot. Okay, set. Don't move. Cover.
Now let's see if Jones can make adjustments. Obviously, the right side of the body was exposed. Brown loading up on the left for the initial breakdown.
Green, you're in control, Green. You're in control.
Jones up to his feet. If he can get the escape, that would be phenomenal.
Got a warning on Green here. Got a warning on Green.
Because he needs to create a situation where he can go for a home run, kind of like we saw in that first period, and lock up that cradle.
Yeah, does he have anything left in his tank to tighten this thing back up?
Stalemate.
Or we get a stalemate
Still
here.
in control there, across the back. You know what I mean? Got you better for Storm. All right, we're down.
And they're going to start back down on the mat. They said Brown still had control with that tight seatbelt underhook type position. So if Jones is going to get back up to his feet, he's got to be able to cut that inside hand.
There we go. There's a quick reversal, and Jones says, hey, hold on here.
And now Jones is on top in a position to, return some of the punishment he got in the second period. We've seen the cradle. It looks like he's working for this bow and arrow tilt, kind of running over that far right shoulder.
We're good here.
Who's ever been on top in this match has been deadly. And there have been a ton of back points. Jones has got 60 seconds, though, and he's down by 7.
Yeah, he's got to be more aggressive in this position. Having this locked up is a great advantage, but he's got to step that right leg out. He's got to create a little bit more pressure over that right shoulder if he's going to use that, and obviously drops it now and needs to think about where else to go if he's going to have a shot in winning this bout.
Well, good job here by Gavin Brown. He's fighting there, and he's not giving up any back points. He's staying tough, trying to work to a base here and get up.
What's interesting is he's up by 7 on the scoreboard, plus he currently has the riding time. You look at the riding time in comparison to the match clock. If he finishes his period on bottom, he won't get riding time, and he'll only win by 7. So it'll only be 3 points for the Boilermakers. Maybe he heard me talking and wanted to just make that not the case. In on a leg, but has not actually gotten the escape. Still on bottom, technically.
A riding time point is now under, but it's a victory for Gavin Brown. Fireworks in that match. 15 up on the board, though. And Purdue tacks on to their lead.
Bring it to the center, gentlemen. Good job.
Boilermakers have been great here in the second half, and they've got some tough ones coming up. Top 25, Stony Buell. But before we get there, again, we go back to Matt Ramos with that great suit, that big smile. Stony Buell, though, coming up at 157. Not sure if he has that same suit or not.
He might. To be determined, but I think what we've seen from him on the mat so far, he could probably wear whatever he wants. He's had a really good season. He's a really kind of foundational Midwestern grind style, really good in the hand fight, really good at controlling ties, and I think he'll look to continue the great momentum that this Purdue team has shown in the second half of this duel.
Well, this is a Wolverine State battle in the Hoosier State right here. Darius Marinas out of Lansing and Stony Buell out of Dundee. Two guys that know each other, and that makes this one even more fun. In a match that, again, now, we talked about it earlier, the pressure was on Purdue after Michigan State won 3 straight matches. Now we flip it back to the green and white. They need to come back and get a victory, especially knowing you got the national runner-up coming up for Purdue.
Yeah, this is the strong part of Purdue's lineup. This is, if you're Michigan State, you would have loved to have won some of those earlier swing matches. 33 in particular really stands out. It's really incumbent on them to try to make something happen in these last couple matches and get out to an early lead or kind of go for that near fall that you're maybe not sure you're able to get, to give them hope in taking the road victory.
Definite advantage here for Stony Buell just in terms of experience. He's a redshirt senior. Marina is just a redshirt freshman. But Roger Chandler couldn't speak more highly of Darius Marinas. They really like what they've been able to get from him. 14-6 this season. And he said if he's got a chance to get that cradle, he's going to go for it.
And they also spoke about his defense, and he's got a really good rubber knee, which you kind of saw there, but Buell doing a good job readjusting as that other leg came forward to a double and able to secure the takedown and get right to that forward pressure and break Marinez down and look for this bow and arrow ride and potentially some back points.
Buell, a guy that was in the NCAA tournament a couple of years ago. He was actually at 165 last year. Remember, Joey Blaze was at 157. So those two swap. And Buell down here at 57. Coach Ursland said, feels like he can insert more of his will with his strength at this weight class.
Yeah, I think it's a good weight class for him. And Coach Ursland mentioned that he's done a really good job of adjusting to the different weight class, the different weight cut. You see guys who get bigger and go up, but going down is a lot more challenging. And let's take a look again here at the takedown. Good lefty high crotch by Buell, switching off to the inside shot. And good initial defense, but adjusting to that double leg and controlling the hips for the takedown. But again, going down in weight is really difficult at the college level. It takes a lot of discipline, adjustments to diet, adjustments to training. And I think Buell has really settled into the weight class nicely. And you've seen that with kind of the record so far this year and where he's shaken out in the rankings.
He's trying to bounce back after a loss in sudden victory to Anthony White, 4-1 on Sunday. It looks good right now. That rotting time ready to push up over a minute. And there you go.
Yeah, and you can see the toes in the mat of Buell. He's finally got the hips flat of Marinez, and he's just going to keep working to try to do that. He's got short time left. He's got to finish this period on top to put a stamp on what's been a very strong first period for him and the Boilermakers.
Buell showing off that Hammer Down Cancer singlet. It's the annual Hammer Down Cancer Singlet auction, which Purdue does yearly. They raise money and awareness for cancer research. All proceeds donated to the Purdue Institute for Cancer Research. And there you see the bright neon colors. You can bid on those all the way till Sunday night at 11:59. So I don't know what you have planned for the rest of your weekend, but get in on the act.
Maybe in between renovating my bathroom, I can go online and put a bid in. Those are some sharp looking singlets.
Renovating the bathroom sounds about as fun as being on bottom and trying to get tilted.
Yeah, especially when you've got a hammer in Stony Buell that's working against you. Good job getting the escape and taking the 4-0 lead. Did a good job of getting to his leg attack early. We saw some interesting defense from Marinez, but not able to fully wiggle out. Let's see if he can get to some offense here now that he's had a little bit of time to settle into this match.
Again, an important matchup for Michigan State.
Center, Russell center.
Got to find a way to get some momentum back, but that's asking a lot for a redshirt freshman. First year as their starter at 157.
Go work through
Just
it,
10 total matches last year for Marinez. Marinez grew up in Lansing, but went to the powerhouse that is Detroit Catholic Central. The Shamrocks, one of the best in the state of Michigan. Wrestling powerhouse.
Yeah, and Coach Chandler likes what he's seen from him so far. He's got high hopes for him. He's come out to a good start so far this season. He's got a good inside reach single to that left side, which he hasn't quite been able to get to yet, but Stoney is leading heavy with that right leg, so it could be there with the right setup. Hopefully he can see him pull the trigger and maybe get himself back in this match with 35 to go in the second.
And so far right now, Stony Buell in complete control. There's a lock of the head right there. I told you Marinez would love to get a cradle. He's got a chance.
And he's got this underhook on the near side where he likes to attack the leg. He's trying to go across the body, which Buell's doing a good job of defending with that left hand. Marinez has to have a little bit more urgency in this short offense position, but I think he's going to be okay just letting the clock run out and try to make up the deficit in the third period.
2 minutes left to go. There's Roger Chandler hoping that there's something left in the Spartan tank. They have wrestled tough. You look at their record, 3-4. They haven't won a Big Ten duel yet. Purdue, obviously, we've told you about the success they've had. 8 dual wins already. Michigan State holding their own here in West Lafayette.
Yeah, really good start from the team. Definitely some stuff to build off of. And in these last couple matches, again, Purdue favored on paper and Buell doing a good job right now. it's about some of these little wins as you're trying to build momentum in the Big Ten season. If you're Marinez and you're young, can you get to your offense? Can you get a takedown on a ranked guy? Those are the sorts of things that are really important this time of year to just chip away at keeping that confidence and momentum heading into the conference tournament.
So work through it. Stop, stalemate, center. We're neutral here.
All right, just 1:21 left to go. So if you're a redshirt freshman and you're battling a redshirt senior like this and you haven't been able to score, what's the mindset? How do you break through?
I think you recognize, hey, I've struggled to get to offense, but I'm still in this match, and this is a quality ranked opponent. So to be here is a great accomplishment for Marinez, and maybe you've tried some half-hearted attempts because you're nervous and you're not quite sure you're going to be able to convert, but you have confidence that you can go get this. So maybe think about that 2 to 3 step sequence that you drill in practice and you really go to when times are tough, and give it a shot and let it fly. I mean, what's the worst that's going to happen? You're already down on the scoreboard anyway.
Well, he's got 35 seconds to see if he's got something left here. But I think you're right. I mean, just go after it. You got nothing to lose right now. There he does take the attack, wrapped up on that left leg, trying to shoot up.
And a good job to this almost Iranian position. Buell doing a good job bringing it back down. If you're Marinez, you're looking to capture that arm of Buell. Now you're driving towards the head, looking for neutral danger. Buell fighting that off, recognizing he just needs to close the match out, trying to keep his hips down. Good reverse lock position. And again, Marinez close to the takedown, some stuff to build off of as a young guy in the Big Ten season, but nice solid match from Buell, grinding out the 5-0 win and taking the victory.
I'll tell you what, the Boilers have come out ready to go in the second half of this duel. That's 3 straight victories. Clark, and it's not going to get any easier because you've got the national runner-up. Welcome back, Joey Blaze. Perfect this year, still 13-0. Jack Conley has the tough task of trying to hang with this guy right here.
And he's looked great this season, obviously undefeated, but up a weight class from 57, and in the middle, in these middle weight classes of 57 and 65, these are the toughest weight classes in college wrestling. You're in the middle of that distribution curve. It's the most competitive, the toughest people. So for him to put on that size against a lot of quality competition and build off of that momentum he had last year in that runner-up finish, great sign for the Boilermakers, and a great sign for him as he chases towards his ambitions of ending the season as a national champion.
Last year it was Antrell Taylor that got him 4-2 in the final, but what a run he had to get there. I mean, that is so much fun when you watch a wrestler kind of break onto the scene. 24-6 last year for Blaze.
1.
Yeah, really good job getting to that offense and kind of low single head inside shot, working up the leg, creeping towards a back trip, trying to pull Conley back to the center. I think the thing when we talked to Coach Ursland too about what was different for Joey Blaze last season versus his freshman season, he said he just felt like he was wrestling freer. He wasn't as results oriented. You kind of get hung up on wins and losses when you first get into the college rankings, and the second you recognize, hey, a lot of these guys are good, I'm going to take losses, but I want to make sure I'm at least putting my best product every time I step on the mat. I think that switch really flipped for Joey Blaze last year, and he had confidence in his ability and just felt more free on the mat, and that's what leads you to get some of these upsets at the NCAA tournament, in Big Ten competition, and once you kind of have that aha moment, great things can happen, and we've seen that so far with Joey Blaze.
And you can understand it too. I mean, Joey Blaze is a 3-time Ohio State champ. You know how good his brother is, a 4-time Ohio State champ. Like, the Blaze family, they're great wrestling. So you come to college and you're like, okay, I won so much in high school, I want to keep doing that in college. And when you face adversity, then the pressure starts to mount.
Yeah, and you certainly can win, but I think it's just a different level of competition, consistency, and you're wrestling some of the most important matches of your career every single weekend. And Blaze is doing an awesome job to get another takedown, locking up another odd cradle that we've seen in this duel. getting some back points.
Holding four.
But again, I think recognizing the level of competition and just being kind of pushing yourself to relax and free up is what the best guys in the country do. And Penn State's obviously mastered that in how they run their program. And I think the more guys who lean into that kind of carefree nature, just put awesome products on the mat and get really great results. Awesome short offense from Joey Blaze, and I mean, such a complete first period, up 16-3.
All right, well, we're in West Lafayette, but here in Minneapolis coming up, we've got number 2 against number 7. How about a couple of number 1 wrestlers, Brandon Cannon and Jesse Mendez, part of what has made that Ohio State team so good early on here in 2025-2026.
Yeah, I mean, Mendez is such a proven competitor and has been the leader of that Buckeye team. But, I mean, their young guys have been so impressive this season. Cannon's wrestling product is impressive, but he might have a NIL partnership with Head & Shoulders 2-in-1 because that hair is pretty impressive as well.
Luscious locks, man. You got to win, and you got to look good doing it. Speaking of that, how about this from Joey Blaze? 9 bonus point wins this year, leads the Boilers. And I tell you what, he looks like he is ready to make another run, this time at 165 in 2026. All right, our final bout of the evening, it's Connor O'Neill taking on Brody Bowman, who had his biggest victory of his career. Lenny Pinto, number 10 in the country, beaten by him. Let's see how he follows it up to wrap up this duel tonight.
Yeah, and getting that ranked win like he did last week against a quality opponent, that's the kind of stuff that's so important in the Big Ten dual season. If you're Bowman, you've kind of creeped into the top 20, you're making progress, you've knocked off a guy who's in the top 10, and your goal is to get on that podium and be an All-American and material scorer of points for your team at nationals. And I think he's shown that he's able to do that and compete with those guys. So trying to keep that momentum, get to your offense quick like he just did right here with this outside shot. That's what the Boilermakers are looking for, and great job of securing that far ankle and getting the early takedown.
I mean, this has been just workmanlike by the Boilers under Tony Ersland post-intermission. They have come out ready to go.
Yeah, and I think they've just gotten back to what makes them great. It's setting pace, it's controlling center of the mat, and they struggled in their mat wrestling in that first half, unable to get out on bottom, giving up some riding time to the Spartans, but totally different second half, and the teams looked really, really solid.
Well, this is going to make things a little bit more somber when they've been dominating and they're enjoying what is about to be their first win at home of 2026 in the Big Ten, but not sure what happened to Bowman. They're taking a peek at him.
Yeah, just working towards that far ankle, pretty normal progression. It's that left leg. Didn't look like it was in an orthodox position, which obviously isn't the best sign, but he's up, he's moving around.
Well, the duel has wrapped up in terms of Purdue's won it, but certainly, he wants to compete if he can, but he is really favoring that left leg.
Yeah, and like we were saying, one of his biggest wins of his college career last weekend, a ton of momentum. It's about the outcomes of the matches and getting that as you're building your case for Big Ten conference play and NCAA play, but it's also staying healthy. I mean, the Big Ten's a grind competitively, but these nicks and injuries are a big factor as well, and hopefully it's nothing serious here for Brody Bowman.
And you can see he's grimacing. He's doing his best to get out there. All right, let's see if we can see what happens. Maybe a little bit of a hard step right there. Tough to tell. Here's the good news, though. He's going to fight through it. Well, these wrestlers are so freaking tough. And on we go. O'Neill gets free, gets on the board. See if maybe he can get going. Just a transfer from Rutgers, spent 5 years with the Scarlet Knights, year 6 of wrestling. New Jersey state champ back in 2020. He's been injured, O'Neal. You know, he's only wrestled 3 total matches the last couple of years, but he was a 2022 NCAA qualifier.
Yeah, really nice attack from Bowman. Good to see him still have that ability after going down with that knee injury, but one-handed on the inside shot, able to quickly get the height. Good defense by O'Neal trying to get his hips back down, but Bowman pops him back up and is now just going to be methodical and working out the back door, trying to isolate that bottom leg for a Turk. And he's got plenty of time to try to pop that head out, push that knee away, secure the other leg like he does to get another takedown.
It's good fundamentals right there.
Yeah, just really good progression. I mean, that's this kind of stuff that you go through in practice. You kind of know those steps in that sequence, and you're keeping calm in the match, knowing where to go, having confidence in your training. You see that come through when you go step by step like Bowman just did.
Green's in control. 1.
Bowman, a 2-time NCAA qualifier last couple of years, 2024, 2025. He's a 2-time Indiana state champ. And a couple of guys from Indiana, he's one of them, out of Evansville, Latter-day High School. Nice to have a guy that's back in the lineup, 3rd straight year at 174. And that's one of the reasons this Purdue team was picked to have such a great season. I mean, you go back to last year, they had 5 NCAA qualifiers. And outside of Matt Ramos, who's just out of eligibility, everybody else is back.
Yeah, and a great job again getting to his offense and working quick for the takedown. But totally agree. I mean, having that great core nucleus that's been at Purdue, for Ramos' success and obviously Blaze's run last year, and being able to keep that is huge in today's college wrestling landscape. The transfer portal is so prominent. Folks are going in consistently if they're NCAA qualifiers and winning matches at NCAAs, and I think it's just a testament again to the culture that Coach Ersland's built at Purdue. I think the momentum that they have with sending guys to the finals. If you're looking to be successful individually, you want to have confidence that you can go to a place where it is possible to make the NCAA finals and win. And Purdue has proven that they can do that and compete with the best. So I think it's a great sign, and I'm excited to see how they fare in Big Ten competition, both in the dual meets and also at the Big Ten Conference Tournament in March.
It's really cool to see the journey of Tony Ersland. I mean, to get where he is, he put in the work. Did his master's at Central Michigan, went to Northern Illinois, an assistant at Northwestern. He was at Nebraska under Coach Manning for 8 years, and then finally got the Purdue job. And 12 years later, he has turned this thing back in the right direction and built it up. And that's hard to do in the best conference in college wrestling, to make headway to the top of this league.
Absolutely, and great job being patient and working towards that reversal and getting some back points from Bowman. But I mean, totally agree. He's been a journeyman. He's gotten exposure to a lot of different programs of different types, and I think that experience has helped him shape the culture of what he wants to build at Purdue. And it takes time to build a program. It's more than just a coach who knows how to run a practice. It's fundraising. It's being a psychologist and a therapist to these kids. It's engaging alumni. I mean, and he's really brick by brick done a really good job with the Boilermakers, and I think they're solidly in that middle pack within the Big Ten. And now they're thinking about how do we crack into that upper echelon and really start to separate ourselves and get in the conversation with the folks like Penn State, Nebraska, Minnesota, Iowa, etc.
Bowman up 13-3 here on Neal with 30 seconds left to go in the period. Maybe that next step, can they finish one of these and win a national championship individually? You still got to go back to Charles Jones. He was their last in 1992. Winning the Big Ten. Chris Flieger, the last individual champ in 2003. So still some headway that they can make as they continue to climb the ladder.
Yeah, and I think they totally can. It's just having those signals of individuals within your program that have gotten close. It gives everybody else on the team confidence that it is possible, because if you're going through your drill set, you're going through your sprints, you're going through your lift, and you see a guy like Joey Blaze who's doing it a certain way, and you can have confidence that you're bringing the same level of intensity as a national finalist. It just helps elevate everybody, and increases the probability of what you just said.
Well, you give a lot of credit here to Brody Bowman. Remember, we weren't sure if he was going to be able to continue after he had a little leg injury early on, but he's put up 13 points, and he is 2 minutes away from home sweet home finish for Purdue, as they will get 4 straight duels. Now, they hadn't been at home since November, and they hadn't competed at Holloway Gymnasium yet outside of their black and gold scrimmage way back in November. So sometimes the Big Ten is tough, but it's nice to just be back at home.
Absolutely, and if you kind of do the retrospective on this duel, if you're Coach Ursland, your core middleweights have performed really well. They've shown strong signs on offense. They've been able to get back points. They're chain wrestling. They're doing all the things that you want to see a high-level college wrestler do. It was sort of that earlier group that struggled to get off the bottom to get to offense. So I think making sure that the team focuses on that as they look to prep for their next competition is going to help them put out a more holistic team performance to give them a higher chance of continuing to win these Big Ten duels.
Connor O'Neill able to get a nice reversal there. He's got 5 points. Again, for Michigan State, it's not a victory, but there were some moments of good. And now we'll see if maybe they can carry that over as they stay in the Hoosier State and head up to Bloomington against Indiana.
Yeah, I think you got to be encouraged. If you're Coach Chandler, he had some guys in the beginning wrestle really tough, and notably 197 with that late comeback to really start to build the momentum in their favor in the first half. Some good things from the squad, even in the losses. So I think continuing to keep good position, try to get to offense, try to get out of bottom. These are things that they probably need to continue to focus on, heading up to Indiana in a couple days.
Hail, hail to Old Purdue. A big win for the Boilers, capped off by Brody Bowman. Dominant victory. Second half of this duel, just incredible from the Boilers. We're not going to be beat every single match. They were able to get it done, and one of those, the Outstanding Wrestler, sponsored by Cliff Keen Athletic. How about that point barrage we saw from Gavin Brown, a 15-8 victory?
Yeah, really incredible match. Both guys coming out firing. Brown almost getting pinned at the end of that first period in the cradle by Jones, but being patient, getting to some good top-bottom in that second period, and really blew things open.